Hello, Mr. Justin, and I would like to thank you for agreeing to this interview of mine. Can
Not a
you
problem.
can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Justin. I'm from America, specifically from the state of Iowa.
Oh, yes. And have you have many experience with American weddings?
Yes, for many years, I would say an average, off and on for about 10 years, I was a wedding DJ. So that means I would say I did about 20 weddings a year. So I probably done about over 100 wedding receptions being the DJ and MC. And then also I did a handful of wedding ceremonies as well. So I've also attended weddings as a guest. I've been a best man. I've been a groomsman before, but I've also I've DJed weddings as well. So I've had a lot of experience being around the whole wedding environment on that on the wedding day. Um, uh,
That
yeah.
is wonderful. That is wonderful
Mhm,
to hear. Wow, I did not know that you have so much. All right then, but what
mhm.
about Vietnamese weddings though? Have you attended many of them?
So, primarily, I am married to a Vietnamese girl, and so I have actually been in a Vietnamese wedding. Beyond that, I have attended a lot of Vietnamese receptions. A little bit of information. I came back to Vietnam right after the pandemic. So after the country opened back up, a lot of people got married. So I was in about, say, six wedding receptions before I actually got married. So I have a little bit of experience being around weddings in Vietnam as well.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And well, being someone who've attended weddings from well, these two countries and experienced both of their cultures, what do you think is the main difference here between them?
Well, I would say there's like one main difference and maybe a couple of smaller differences I can add to. So I would say the main difference is America is pretty much a land of immigrants. So you're not just going to have one culture or one religion that drives the ceremony. So we have multiple cultures, multiple religions, and sometimes those religions mix together, and we'll have you know, one religion with another on the bride side and one religion on the groom side, and then we'd have like a wedding where they would do something like as a hybrid. So I would say primarily the difference between a Vietnamese wedding, which is pretty standard the way it works, American weddings can be different in nature based off of their religion and their culture. Smaller details specifically that I've noticed differences between Vietnamese to American weddings is from like which happens very early in Vietnam. It happens generally in the afternoon in America and continues into the reception, where the Vietnamese wedding will happen very early. There'll be a period of time, and then the reception will happen. Also, the Vietnamese wedding will have very close friends and family only at that Vietnamese at the breakfast ceremony time. And
Mhm.
then the reception itself later on at night will be everybody else. Whereas in an American wedding, there is a um, everybody shows up for the ceremony, and then when the ceremony is over, they all transfer to the reception later that evening. So there's not like the separates between the ceremony and the reception when it comes to the wedding day. Another difference is in the Vietnamese weddings, the bride and groom will take their pictures weeks in advance for the wedding day, where the bride and groom will actually take their pictures in between the ceremony and the reception. So there's an hour in between the ceremony and reception where the bride and groom and the groomsmen and bridesmaids all go off somewhere in the town they're in to take lots of pictures and then continue on to the reception. Um, Another thing is I noticed, and that might be different with my wedding because I'm American and my wife's Vietnamese. We kind of had a little bit of hybrid of ourselves in our wedding, but the groom does not see the bride at all before she walks down the aisle during the ceremony. So it's kind of like considered a bad luck thing. I'm not sure how it is here in Vietnam, but at my wedding, I saw my wife pretty much all day long. So I don't know if that's something different as well, but if it is, that's kind of a big deal with American weddings.
Oh, really?
The guy, it's kind of bad luck for the bad luck for the gentleman to see the bride in her wedding dress before she walks down the aisle with her father. Is generally how the standard wedding is in America.
Yeah.
And lastly, what I might add is what I would also like to add is that, um, excuse me, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so what I would like to add is the dancing.
Oh,
In
yes.
American weddings, there'll be dancing at the end of the night, whereas in a Vietnamese wedding, there will be a
Just
just
general
karaoke and
dinner.
everybody leaves. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
dinner, then everybody leaves. So yeah,
indeed.
those are kind of like the differences that I've noticed between Vietnamese weddings and American weddings.
Thank you again, Mr. Justin, for this wonderful interview. You've given me a lot. I hope to get to interview you in another time.
Sure, absolutely. My pleasure.